Now, again, on behalf of Boston Real Estate Times, I would like to welcome you all to our annual Outstanding Women of the Year 2022 Awards ceremony. After 2 years of hosting this event online, we are excited to meet in person to celebrate the achievements and contributions of these outstanding real estate pioneers. And when I say real estate pioneers, I truly mean that. To give you an idea why this celebration is truly a milestone event, I would like to provide you with some numbers, and you decide how far the women's movement has come in real estate, especially in Boston. When in doubt, always look at the numbers because they never lie. And I'm going to tell you one real story. In mid-90s, I was a real estate reporter initially at the Boston Business Journal, and then I became an editor there at the Boston Business Journal of Real Estate. And I was there for about 3 years. And one of my job was to profile. They used to have a section called Executive Profile, which profile only founders, presidents, and principals. This was the rule at the time. And so every month I had to pick one founder or one principal or CEO of a real estate company, architecture, construction, brokerage, development, and I had to file that person. So in 3 years, I profiled about 40 of them. And guess how many of them were women? Any guess from anywhere? One. So I'm just talking about mid-90s. There's only one woman I profiled out of 40. And she was also not actually in real estate development, brokerage, or architecture. She was head of, at that time they used to call it Boston BRA, Boston Development Authority. She was heading that. So now, this year, I think in February, we published our list of Boston's largest architectural firms. And see how much things have changed. Out of about 25 architectural firms made the list, almost half of them were headed by women. So see how much progress we have made there. Now, this also leads me to the process of selecting women for this event. And when we started this movement about five, 6 years ago, at that time, it was very difficult to get the nominations. And then we decided we will go with a number 10. Every year we are going to 10. Now we are getting about close to between 150 to 200 nominations every year. Now it becomes a very challenging task for our editorial team to narrow it down from 150 to 100 to 50 to 30, and after 30 it becomes almost impossible. You can just close your eyes and you can pick anybody there. But it's still coming down to 10 becomes even much harder. And this year we are following the same formula. And in the end, we could not stop at 10. We had to go to the magic number of 13. Because we could not really say no to other people because the contributions they have made. Now, one more thing I wanted to say is why the women are such an important and integral part of any business development. So recently we saw a study which said that if and there was a study about more than 3,000 boards of major corporations around the company, around the board in 38 countries. Just by adding one woman as a board member, it has a dramatic impact on the company's performance, on the company's culture, on the company's commitment to the social work. So that's why I said this is a very milestone, and let us give a big hand of applause to all the 13 women we are going to honor today. And as I'm going to read the profiles of some of them here, you will see their contribution, their pioneering role, and how they're changing the real estate landscape of Boston, from brokerage, from development to architecture to construction to finance, you name it. So our first awardee today is Ellen Ancelone. She is the principal vice president at Feingold Alexander Architects. Over the course of her 30-plus year tenure at Feingold Alexander, she has risen through the ranks to the current role as a principal and vice president at the firm. She has designed some of Boston's most significant residential, commercial, hospitality, academic, and civic adaptive reuse projects such as the Lucas and award-winning redevelopment of a historic South End church into a beautiful condominium. In each of her projects, she is a champion of existing and future architecture, utilizing expertise in historic preservation and a passionate dedication to sustainability to create something new and artful from the word. What a beautiful concept she pioneers. She is a key player in the industry, including her involvement with Crew Boston, Urban Land Institute, WLI Women's Leadership Initiative Council, and is a member of AIA and BSA. She is the recipient of 2018 Preservation Massachusetts Sangas Award and 2019 Banking New England and American Media Women's Fire Up Award. Please welcome Ellen. Sure, please take your time, no rush.
Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for coming, especially thanks to my coworkers in the back there. Thanks to Boston Real Estate Times. I love what I do and I'm just going to keep doing it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we are going to move to another architect, Beja. For over 40 years, she has been building and leading a design practice in Boston, working nationally and internationally. Her focus is the revitalization of existing buildings and the introduction of contemporary architecture in historic settings. She has been a thought leader and advocate for this combination of old and the new. Her projects expand the design dialogue between tradition and innovation, marked by strong historical, cultural, and educational content. Her planning and design work advocates for innovative contemporary expression, the sustainable renewal of historic resources, and a progressive approach to planning for the arts, the community, and the campus. Her clients include US Department of State, Yale University, MIT, as well as other leading academic, civic, and cultural organizations. This is also very interesting to note that with a staff of 65% minority and women, and Beja Architects has been cited for its mentoring and outreach and decades of community service. And welcome here. Please join us.
Thank you so much.
Sure, you want to? Sure.
I have my 400 pages fully documenting the trajectory of my amazing career available, but out of respect for all of you who have, like me, a 9-to-5 job, and then some, I won't. But I will tell you that nobody gets these awards alone. Come on. I think these individual awards, thank you, you're lovely, but please, so you all know it's far beyond it, and the mentors and encouragers in the 70s, when I graduated from grad school at MIT, they weren't women. So thank you to the men. Hugh Shepley, Dan Coolidge, amazing people, Nader Feingold's founders, who just said, go do it. Just go do it. And doing it, of course, is something you've all done and are doing. And that takes a lot of sacrifice, a lot of time. So I started my practice working in a small extra bedroom in a little house and putting our models under our bed and kind of laying out drawings in the bathroom. And storage was in the tub. And I'm now working on the US Embassy in Paris for the State Department. I'm working at projects at Harvard and MIT. And, you know, the old State House in Boston Athenaeum. So, you know, like, unreal. But I think the one that means the most to me right now, in some ways, and I want to talk about for a second, is working for the Latinx community in the South End. I'm working with Natasha Espada, Studio NA, who is from Puerto Rico, on a new cultural and community center in the South End. And it's one of the first contemporary buildings that will be built in a very dense and well-guarded historic district. So it's been a journey. And those kinds of projects are a great balance to the projects that we do for strong Boston institutions. And I think if I could advise anyone on a practice, it's to have this range of community commitment as well as commitment to civic and cultural and educational organizations for which Boston is so well regarded. The New Horizons, and I'm just saying this because you just never know where things are coming from, is that aside from the practice, I will start to teach at Yale in 2023. And that was unexpected, and so what I'd say is, to all of you, just keep your catcher's mitt up, because you just never know what's going to get thrown at you and what extraordinary things people might think of that you would never have thought of yourself. It's very nice to have this. I feel that all the contributions you make to real estate make real estate in Boston more intelligent, more responsive, more content related rather than purely speculative and just for the hell of it. And that's what we need in our city and our suburbs, is places that matter. I also want to appreciate how much you do for open space. I know sometimes that's just a meeting with the BPDA where they're on us about you've got to have open space, but in COVID, that became our living room. And I take that with me, that there is a time not to build. And there are places in which we should not build, or we should build differently, so that we preserve what we love about New England, which is its landscape and its natural beauty. And that has mattered to people from all walks of life in the last 2 years. I don't think that's going to go away. And I think that's a permanent contribution that the real estate industry does and can make to our cities, is the protection and proper development and innovation that they brought to playgrounds and open space. So anyway, on and on. I really thank you so much. Wonderful other awardees. You're all going to end up here soon. And you're very good to do this. And what a breakfast.
Thank you.
Woo. But thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Our next honoree is Christine Blout. She's the Executive Vice President of Colliers Boston. Again, I just want to say one thing, that when I moved here in 1992 from Mexico City, and my first job was as a real estate reporter at the Boston Business Journal, I had no idea what the commercial real estate was. I had no idea about leasing and what, you know, square footage, square feet, what are the differences. Didn't know anybody in the industry. And at that time, it were the Boston brokerage firms who approached me and really helped me learn about the real estate market, learn about real estate industry. And I'm so grateful to these brokerage firms who took me in. So on that note, I'm also been a big fan of Colliers Boston as well. They do a fantastic job in the industry. And Now, just want to say a few words about Christine. She has been a long-time leader in the real estate community in Boston. An executive vice president at Colliers, Christine has been recognized by a number of organizations and publications for her leadership contributions and achievements within the Boston real estate industry, spanning her 20 years career. A dedicated member of many industry networks and organizations, Christine has sat on the board of directors of the Crew Network, the Commercial Brokers Association, serving as the Crew's North American president in 2010, and CVA's president in 2011. A true champion for women in industry that has not always made room for women leaders, Christine has effortlessly harnessed her influence, establishing herself as a mentor, a resource, and a voice that raises other women leaders up to help them succeed in the business. I think this part is very important, and that's why we see that so many women in real estate coming up, because so far 3 people I have introduced, you find one thing in common in them, that is they all support and members of Crew. And that is basically a network. So the networks and supporting each other, it really works. So on that note, I would like to invite Christine to come on the stage.
So Ellen, I'm going to actually steal a couple of minutes of your time, if you don't mind, put together some thoughts. And those of you who know me know I actually love myself a microphone. So first of all, I want to thank the Boston Real Estate Times for this incredible honor. Also, congratulations to all the other amazing women who I share this honor with today. They are truly outstanding professionals that I admire and respect. So when I received notice of this award, I looked up the definition of outstanding in Webster's dictionary. It describes it as standing out, projecting, or marked by eminence and distinction. But under a different context, the word also means unresolved. So I asked myself, what makes me outstanding? I don't run a company, but rather dedicate myself to helping my clients achieve success in their real estate endeavors. Then why am I standing here? I've had a great career, no doubt. Maybe skill, maybe luck, probably a little bit of both. But the second piece of the definition of outstanding might describe me better. I am unfinished, a work in progress, and still paying my debts to others in exchange for the many gifts I've been given. My journey is a process. I always strive to be better. In doing so, I try to embody 8 attributes mostly derived from Bain Consulting Chair Arik Kadish's infamous True North interview. I'd like to share these with you, if you guys can indulge me. First of all, optimism. Nothing positive will come from being negative, and nothing negative will come from being positive. Second, perseverance. We aren't defined by our failures, but rather by our ability to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and continue to move forward. Overcoming obstacles, turning no into yes, and staying strong are critical. 3, confidence. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." 4, authenticity. I am who I am, and it's really difficult trying to be someone else. It's also really transparent to other people when you do. 5, open to change. According to JFK, change is a law of life. Those who look only to the past and the present are sure to miss the future. Extinction and obsolescence are the byproducts of a lack of forward vision. 6, ability to take a chance. I learned in grad school that the higher the risk, the greater the potential return. On a daily basis, I live with the risk of not winning a client, losing a current client, or not executing a particular transaction. But it's important and also motivating to get out of your comfort zone. 7, purpose. It's critical to know where you're heading and to travel in the right direction. Just because we're moving fast doesn't mean we're going somewhere. I firmly believe that we are all in charge of our own destinies. Don't wait for something to happen, make it happen. And finally, humility. I think we can all relate to the statement that life is a long lesson in humility. We are human, therefore we will make mistakes, but we will also realize that we don't have control over everything. It's important to be open to others' approaches, ideas, and opinions. Being sensitive to others' thoughts and needs and responding appropriately is the truest form of humility. The concept of humility as a function of my business was introduced to me when I attended a fundraiser some time ago. The keynote speaker was Dr. Chaudhary Trent, author of the book, The Girl Who Buried Her Dreams in a Can. Raised by a cattle herding family in rural Zimbabwe, Dr. Trent was prohibited from getting an education due to cultural factors, women's roles, and poverty. She told a remarkable story of her journey to the United States as a single mother with 3 children in tow to achieve her dream of attaining an education. First a GED, then a BA, next an MA, and finally a PhD. She practices humility every day by saying she stands on the shoulders of the people who believed in her. For without others, she would not be where she is today. In fact, none of us climbs any mountains without the help of others. And I'm no exception. I've had a great career, but I'm no hero. I didn't have the obstacles to overcome that someone like Dr. Trent did. I'm simply a woman who's willing to work hard and take advantage of the many opportunities that have come my way. A quote that resonates for me is, "Talent and intelligence are evenly distributed. Opportunity, however, is not." There are so many bright and talented people in our community that don't have access to opportunity. Nelson Mandela preached that it is our jobs as leaders in our community to seek out these talented people and engage them. This is what drives my desire to succeed. Not only does it give me personal satisfaction, but also increase success in my practice. In closing, youth who are all extensions of my other family, of my own children, and my niece Hannah Struver is here. And last but not least, my children Jared and Emily. Emily is here with me this morning. They are my biggest source of pride and greatest gifts. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thanks. Now, our next award winner, honoree, is Laura Brink Bisinski. She is the Vice President, University Real Estate and Facilities Management at Simmons University. By the way, my wife went to Simmons University, so I told her and she was very excited. So, and also the elder brother of my father-in-law also went there in the library sciences. So we have a long connection with Simmons University. Since 2013, Simmons University has been developing a plan called One Simmons to fund the consolidation and revitalization of its real estate on its academic campus located at 300 The Fenway by leasing its residential campus along Brookline Avenue for 99 years. The plan called for the partial to full renovation of all buildings at 300 The Fenway, the creation of new science facilities, and the development of new living and learning center on the site of the old science facilities. In 2018, Game Changes, Laura joined this effort full-time and has carried senior level responsibility for this project, which may be the largest project of its kind in the city of Boston, developed and executed by an organization led by women. This project enables Simmons to offer first-class facilities to the only women-centered academic and residential undergraduate program in Boston, as well as to its nationally competitive graduate program delivered on the campus and online. Today, she leads the One Simmons campus plan and continues to oversee that $450 million initiative, the biggest real estate and the master planning project in Simmons history. Laura, welcome. Welcome to the stage.
you so much to the Boston Real Estate Times for recognizing some truly outstanding women in an industry where women, as we have heard, are still working to make significant strides. I feel honored and humbled to be counted among this group and to represent higher education, which is an up-and-coming participant in real estate development. When I was first given the opportunity to work on the One Simmons project, I had no idea what I was doing. After spending my entire career in higher education, doing enrollment management and fundraising, developing relationships and managing projects, I was tapped to lead the largest real estate project that Simmons had ever undertaken. To master plan our entire campus, to file an extensive institutional master plan with the city, to monetize one of our 2 campuses in order to build a new 400,000 square foot living and learning center that will become the future for our students. Every single physical space on our campus was in play, and I was asked to lead the team that would accomplish this generational opportunity. In the first several months of this project, I distinctly remember looking out the window of our boardroom, where we had all of our planning meetings, and seeing a busy squirrel building a nest in the tree outside. She was happily going about her business, clearly understanding exactly what she was doing as she built her new real estate. And I often wished that I was that squirrel, that I had that kind of confidence and knowledge. Rather than being at that table in very consequential meetings that were happening in a language that I didn't understand. But due to an outstanding team, all of which are sitting right over there, I was immersed in the project and I became fluent. And I owe all of it to the team that was built around me. My mentor and the person who nominated me for this award, Helen Drynan, has said that women need to lift up other women. And in fact, we have a duty to do so. She's dogged in this pursuit. We need to teach each other. We need to find opportunities for each other and challenge each other to do more and be more than we think that we're ready for. And that's exactly what she did when she put me in charge of the One Simmons project. And she allowed me to build a team that includes the best broker in Newmark Knight Frank, the best project managers and real estate advisors in Redgate, the best legal and permitting team at DLA Piper, and our extraordinary architectural team and design team at Elkis Manfredi. Not to mention the dedicated internal Simmons team and our fantastic board of trustees. It's a dream team that cannot fail. And all I had to do was learn how to be their quarterback, speak their language, and inspire them through this project that will transform the only all-women's undergraduate university in Boston and propel it confidently into the future. And thanks to Helen, Simmons will complete this incredible project with a project team that is led mostly by women. I know that all of us in this room, some of us giants in the industry of development, architecture, and construction, all of us know that one individual, hopefully a woman, who has got that sparkle in her eye or the fire in her belly that maybe no one else has seen, and maybe she doesn't even realize that she has it. Perhaps she's not fluent in the language quite yet, but we all know those individuals, and I hope and I think that we owe it to them to put them at the board table, to build a team around them, and to teach them the language that will help them succeed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Our next awardee is Smriti Chaudhary. She's an associate at Safe Hearts Shah Law Firm. I have to tell you is that as we were scouting through all the nominations, her nomination was just absolutely incredible, very passionate by so many people, including from her bosses, was incredible. And so just a little bit about her, that her colleagues at the Boston Law Firm call her incredibly hardworking and excellent real estate associate, and quote, clients love her Partners all want her to work with them, wrote one of the Safehouse partners. In commercial real estate, clients need to move quickly in dynamic environments for acquisitions, dispositions, leasing, mergers and acquisition transactions to manage an array of issues, including corporate restructuring, due diligence, and financing. Smriti collaborates with her clients to navigate these various transactions and offers practical, legal, strategic, and operational solutions. She's also one of the budding law professional in Boston, especially in the real estate area. So I would like to invite Smriti to come on the stage.
It does seem like a long walk, even though I think I was the closest table to the podium. If you would just bear with me, I do have a couple remarks. Like the other honorees have spoke, this award is not just due to individual talent or hard work. It's due to the support that we have throughout our career. And I would be remiss if I did not dedicate this award to my mentors, and one of whom is here today, and one is several of whom are on virtually. But firstly, thank you, Boston Real Estate Times. I am humbled and honored to be part of this year's honorees. I stand here before you a product of great mentorship. Yes, hard work and dedication play a large role in molding one's niche in the legal field, but mentorship has been a key to creating a strong foundation in my CRE practice. I have been blessed to have a strong network of mentors. Two such mentors are here with me today, as I mentioned, and I would like to take this opportunity to recognize them. First, Patricia DeAngelis, who took a chance on me as a first-year law student to intern at Mass Development, an internship reserved for third-year law students. My time at Mass Development was my first introduction to CRE, including Boston zoning, brownfields work, and gateway cities. I saw firsthand how Mass Development played a role in transforming communities through real estate projects, such as Fort Devens. And Patty, as GC, gave me opportunities to work on contracts for such real estate projects, including leasing and financing. Thank you, Patty, for all you have done for me. I would not be the CRE attorney I am today without the experience of Mass Development and your support. Second, and I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to look directly at the camera because he is online. Second, I'd like to thank my current partner, Michael Dowley, for trusting me as first chair for the various CRE deals, from acquisitions, dispositions to financing, and leasing for his clients. Mike has given me an opportunity to blossom in my own brand with clients that feel like family. Thank you, Mike, for your continued trust and support. You will always be a great mentor and a true friend. As I wrap up, I would be remiss if I did not include a dedication to my amazing clients and my family. To my clients, I am forever thankful for your trust in me. To my family, thank you for always supporting me as an attorney, daughter, sister, wife, and most recently, a mother. It takes a village, and I am blessed to have a village behind me, professionally and personally. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have a couple of people standing in the back. We have few seats open here. If you can come here, please. You can sit down, take a seat here. Now, the finance is a very important part of any business, and especially in real estate, and especially if you are a developer. So for the first time ever, we are going to give this award to somebody who deals with the finance and does a fantastic job. She is Joelle Dunham. She is Chief Financial Officer and Senior Vice President at the Bulfinch Companies. As the first ever Senior Vice President, CFO of the Bulfinch Companies, she oversees the firm's financial operations for the firm's portfolio of more than 3.6 billion in assets. As a member of Bullfinch senior leadership team, Julie is a strong female role model and serves as a mentor to young professionals. She is a member of the Bullfinch Investment Committee, Valuation Committee, Asset Management Committee, and Technology Committee. She has over 20 years of experience, previously serving as a VP of AEW Capital Management, where she participated in AEW's Real Estate Technology Council and as a judge for the Chris Cranch, if I pronounce it rightly, Real Estate Challenge Board. She received the AEW's Distinguished Service Award in 2020 and 2014 in recognition of exceptional work. She is deeply committed to giving back to her profession and community. She is an active participant in the REFA Programs Committee, recently completed the KPMG Executive Leadership Institute for Women, and serves as a judge for Suffolk University's ENT 101 Business Foundation course. So, Joely, please welcome to the stage.
Thanks so much. This is quite an honor. Having been in the real estate business for over 20 years, it's an incredible honor to get recognized by the Boston Real Estate Times for the prestigious Outstanding Woman of 2022 award. It's so great to see an incredible group of successful and influential women in this room today, and I'm not just talking about my fellow award winners. I've seen quite a bit of change over my 20+ years in the industry, where I see more and more women in leadership roles, and it's up to us as leaders to pay it forward to future generations to ensure continued progress of equality in the workplace. When I started my career in the real estate sector, I was fortunate enough to find my first mentor during my first job out of college at the public accounting firm Arthur Andersen. Although the job didn't last long, thanks Enron, the connections I made, specifically my mentor, helped me get to where I am today. He was very influential in my career, always willing to take the time to teach me the right way to do things, as well as a great listener, and he is still a good friend to this day. Without this mentor, I probably would have never landed my first private industry job at AEW Capital Management. I spent half of my career at AEW surrounded by some of the most knowledgeable colleagues in the industry. While I was there, I managed some of the more complex accounts and relationships. I had the opportunity to collaborate with other internal departments and groomed and trained a team of my own. Because of this, I knew I was ready to make the leap to a CFO role, but needed to find someone who's willing to give me that opportunity. When I decided it was time to make a move, I was put in touch with Eric Schlager, CEO of the Bullfinch Companies. Now you have to remember, Bullfinch never had a CFO, and here I am trying to convince Eric to take a shot on me. As I said earlier, yes, I did the work that many CFOs did, but I most certainly didn't have the title. Well, the fact that I'm standing here today shows that Eric was smart enough to make a good decision. All kidding aside, we need more leaders like Eric to see through gender and titles and focus on capabilities. Although there are still too many capable women who are overlooked in the workplace, I'm living proof that a lot of progress has been made. I need only look to my mentor and the fact that Bullfinch took a shot on me. Lastly, when I was a small girl, my mother hung a wooden sign up in my room that read, "Girls can do anything." Thanks, Mom. I know you are looking down on me and couldn't be prouder. Thank you.
On this note, I have to add one more thing about Bullfinch Companies. Because when we do these type of events, it costs money, it takes time. And whenever we call Bullfinch for helping and supporting these type of initiative of women's event and all, every year they come through and they help us. So Bullfinch, thank you very much for supporting us all the time. Our next awardee is Jennifer Francis, President and CEO of Diversified Healthcare Trust and Executive Vice President of the MR Group, which I always call that is the Boston's best kept secret, the RMR Group. Jennifer has been Managing Trustee, President, and CEO of Diversified Healthcare Trust since 2021. She was President and Chief Operating Officer from 2018 to 21. In addition, she serves as EVP of the RMR Group and is also responsible for asset management and leasing activities at all RMR managed properties. Jennifer has 30 years of experience working in the commercial real estate industry. She is on the executive board of the American Seniors Housing Association, a member of National Association of Industrial and Office Properties, and a member of Commercial Real Estate Women Crew. The whole crew theme continues throughout, and that's why supporting each other becomes very, very important. And before joining RMR in 2006, she served as a partner at CBRE New England Partners, where she performed brokerage and corporate advisory services for a number of large corporate clients on their national commercial real estate portfolio. Previously, she was vice president at the Gunwin Company, where she was responsible for asset management of portfolio of commercial, retail, and residential assets. So Jennifer, welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Upendra. And thanks very much for the recognition by you and the Boston Real Estate Times. I'll be brief. I'd like to first congratulate my fellow outstanding women. I've known many of you for years, and it's an honor to be recognized with each and every one of you. I must also mention that when I first started in my career, close to 35 years ago, it would have been a pretty small pool of women from which to choose for this award, as you mentioned. So it's nice to see that it was such a large group that you had to choose from. I've been at the RMR Group for a little less than half of my career, and it's been an exciting place to work. As you said, we often refer to it as the best kept secret in Boston. When I joined RMR in 2006, we had approximately $14 billion of assets under management, and we've grown to around $37 billion. Because we're a vertically integrated alternative asset manager, I've had the pleasure of working with an extremely diverse group of real estate professionals in my time at RMR. From public REIT presidents and CFOs, portfolio and asset managers, strong acquisitions and dispositions professionals, finance, marketing and investor relation officers, capital markets professionals, a robust property management and accounting group, a top-notch legal team. The list goes on and on. It's important to note that I could not be where I am today without being supported by an extremely strong team of people. They say surround yourself with smart, strong, hardworking people and let them shine. They shine all day, every day, and I'm better as a result. I had the opportunity recently to mention how happy I am that my husband's been supportive over the years, and I blew that opportunity. So I'm going to take a minute right now to say, my husband, William, he's been patient and supportive through all of the trials and tribulations of my career, the missed dinners, interrupted vacations, endless travel, late nights at the office. He's endured it all with a smile, never a complaint. He's the anchor of our family, and I and my children are lucky to have him in our lives. So again, well. So again, congratulations to my fellow outstanding women. I look forward to continuing to mentor and sponsor the future outstanding women in commercial real estate. Look around the room. Look around your offices. They surround us every day. Let's make sure we recognize them for who they are and who they can be. Thanks.
Thank you. This is yours here. Oh, this is here. I think, yeah, it is.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you.
Good. Now, talking about husband, I think this is a good time for me to also, if my wife is watching, to mention her as well. So I started the Mishra Group, my company, in 1997. And every mistake you can think I was making in that startup mode. A lot of money, went through tough time, hell. Every worst thing you can imagine happened to me. And every time, my wife will come and tell me, you know what, this thing you should be doing this way. This thing you should be doing this way. I never, ever listened to her. I always said, what she knows about business. She's a graduate of Simmons College, and she has studied, she works somewhere. What she knows about business. And every time, and this is one of the biggest repentance I have in my life. If I had heard even 50%, my God, I would have been one of the richest person in this community. I'm not kidding. So it's very important. And this again tells us about how we treat women in our own family, with our own spouses, our own children. And the men are also definitely at fault because we assume that, oh, what they know. But again, if you look at any mythology in the world, historically, one of the reasons men really become scared of women because the power which women have when it comes to love, affection, care, you name anything, they are the source of everything. And men feel very intimidated, and that's why they start putting them down or not giving them the credit. But at least I have learned to give credit to my wife. Absolutely. So now, so let's move to our next awardee, Deborah Hauser. She is the Executive Director of Residential Brokerage, Sene. She has played an integral role in the shaping and strategy of Sene's residential real estate business. She directs and oversees all initiatives for the residential brokerage team, including office expansion, innovation, high-caliber associate recruitment, and strategic improvement plans for the company. When we saw her nomination, this is again, for the first time, we are honoring somebody who really deals with residential real estate because focus. So this is, again, a credit goes to her. We are very much impressed by her, what she has done at Sene, and how her nomination came. She works with a company leadership on growth initiatives, opening new branches and mergers and acquisitions in Greater Boston and beyond. She also actively supports selling and securing new business while implementing a strategic plan, organizational development of new programs, and building collaborative partnerships. She previously served as a Chief Operating Officer for Daniel Gale Sotheby's International Realty, where she had also managed the company's #1 office for 8 years and was responsible for co-managing the relationship with sales managers and agents. And now I would like to invite Deborah to come on the stage, please.
Thank you. Thank you to the Boston Real Estate Times for including me in this really lovely honor. And congratulations to all the celebrants. I'm proud and humbled to be part of this talented group of female leaders. I'm I'm also very proud to represent Sine, which is a growing real estate advisory firm where I am only one of a number of female with leadership positions. Thank you, Billy. I value the recognition of women in business. It's critical that we encourage women to continue to take leadership roles. A mentor once said to me, "Deb, don't look back. You're not going that way." That was a very, very interesting and poignant comment that has become sort of a leading beacon for me, and I give that back to the men and women that I mentor. It's a very important statement for today, not just for the women that we honor, but for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this. Our next awardee is Marci Griffith Loeber. I think I remember her name since I used to work at the BBJ in the 90s. Doesn't disclose her age, but I think she was very active at the time. And she is the heading, one of the very few female CEOs who is heading a real estate investment and development company in Boston. She is a trailblazing leader in Massachusetts real estate industry who has left an inedible imprint on these regions for 3 decades. One of the few women operating as a manager in the transaction space, Marci has been leading her company since 2010. As a testament to her prowess, she has been involved in 525 transactions, representing over $26 billion in assets. Known as a visionary, her work has had a demonstrated impact on the Massachusetts economy. Now everybody talks about life sciences and labs. Years before the pandemic accelerated growth in lab space, she transitions her business from primarily office space to life science properties, evidenced most recently by 580 Pleasant Street in Watertown, an industrial property undergoing a gut renovation conversion into Class A laboratory building. In addition, again, this is noteworthy, she is the only woman to have served as a president of both NAIOP Massachusetts and Real Estate Finance Association boards, each with a distinction. She also is an active member of ULI. Notably, she prioritizes giving back to her community. Since its inception in 1997, she has served on the Champions for Children's Committee for Boston's Children's Hospital, over which time $71 million was raised. She has also served on the real estate committees for the Archdiocese of Boston, overseeing the purchasing, sale, leasing, and construction of real estate for 10+ years. She also is a member of the Board of Trustees and chair of the Building Committee of Noble Green School. So Marci, please welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Upendra, and sorry. And thank you to the Boston Real Estate Times for this wonderful honor. And congratulations to the other award recipients. It's an honor to be awarded this alongside all these wonderful women. And a special thank you to Paul Ayub, who nominated me for this. He's been a trusted business partner, colleague, friend, and of course lawyer for over the last decade. There's been a lot of changes in the commercial real estate industry over the nearly 35 years. I'm really not that old. I started in grammar school. And I think for the better. I can remember when I tried to get into this business, meeting with a man who basically told me I'm never going to make it in this business. Hopefully that will not happen today to a young woman. Certainly the volume and complexity of the deals have increased, but so has the diversity of the commercial real estate community. Some of the ladies who've been doing it with me for decades are in this room, and it's nice to see familiar faces in person as opposed to on Zoom. And I think we all really enjoy this business in large part because of the friends we've made along the way. As I like to say to people that don't understand our business, it's a contact sport. We like to bump into people in Post Office Square Park. We like to bump into people at breakfast like this. And it's nice to see this room full of a lot of women, because 35 years ago, you would not have seen that. And the friends that we make along the way make this business so enjoyable. And I think the market, the Boston market, is stronger for all those relationships and the dedication of the people in this room. As the market rotates from office to flex to life science, the opportunities change. But the flexibility of the commercial real estate community has stayed right in step. Some might argue we've been a step ahead of other markets. I feel the increased diversity in this industry, in Boston in particular, has certainly helped to foster this flexibility and creativity. You need to think out of the box, and therefore you need diverse people at the table in order to do that. And we are a firm believer of that at Griffith Properties. Where does the market go from here? I think the Boston market still has plenty of upside. We're seeing it in the communities where we work and where we live, and of course, we're seeing it in transactions we are all enjoying. Certainly the life science pipeline in various communities appears strong. Manufacturing and distribution businesses in the area are growing, and increasingly more and more people want to go back to work in whatever form that takes. I think people want to be back together in a workspace. It comes back to relationships. People want to be together, and that's what fosters creativity in our industry. As much as I've enjoyed working from home, that changes, once school gets out, whether it's for the end of the day or that dreaded summer vacation. It's nice to be able to go to the office. As people have said today, success in this business does not come alone. I've had the pleasure and the good fortune of being on two wonderful teams in my career. The first 20 years of my career in the brokerage business with two great partners, Rob and Woody, and a wonderful team that led to our success and my success. And currently I'm on a great team with the people at Griffith Properties, who are a lot of which are here today. As we've grown together, grown more diverse, I'd like to think we've gotten better at what we do, and I truly appreciate all that every one of you guys and the people that aren't here do, so thank you. And finally, to my husband, who's here today, I think mostly for the breakfast, but he's here. I love you and thank you for all your support. And I certainly would be remiss without thanking my 3 children, who are hopefully at school. They learned at a very young age, if I picked them up somewhere during the week, they had to get in the car and be quiet and figure out whether I was on a conference call. So to that, I thank them. And thank you all again.
Thank you, Marci. Thank you. Now, our next awardee is who plays a very, very important role in affordable housing in Massachusetts, nearly almost financing about $1 billion annually in this area. She's a Crystal Kornegay, Executive Director of Mass Housing. Her organization lends over $1 billion annually to produce and preserve affordable rental housing and create homeownership opportunities for low and moderate income borrowers. Under her leadership, Mass Housing launched a highly successful down payment assistance program, secured over $80 million to expand its workforce housing initiatives, and developed a nationally recognized program for home ownership production in communities of color. Before joining Mass Housing, she served as the Baker-Polito administration's Undersecretary for Housing and Community Development, where she successfully advocated to increase state capital dollars for affordable housing by almost 18%, partnered to increase rental subsidies for low-income families by 42%, and collaborated to dramatically reduce the number of homeless families in motels. Prior to work as an Undersecretary, Crystal was President and Chief Executive Officer at Urban Age, one of New England's largest community development corporations. She serves on the boards of the Massachusetts Department of Transportation and the Massachusetts Bay Transit Authority, the National Housing Trust, the National Council of State Housing Agencies, and a member of the Federal Home Loan Bank of Boston's Advisory Committee. Crystal, welcome. Welcome and thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Lisa. I've been dying to say that. When people said, oh, we want you to say a few words, I thought they meant like, thank you. I didn't know I had to like say words, and then everybody got up here and said some smart stuff. I was like, I better write a few things down. So thank you, Boston Real Estate Times. This is quite an honor. I don't know, I think Kristen was the one who was saying she loves herself a mic. And so, and I like a mic, but only when I'm like talking about my issues, right? It's like, I don't really want to talk about me. But thanks to the awardees, I oftentimes you get these awards and I was just like, I didn't know what a big deal it was until I like saw who else was getting the awards, right? It's like, it's all relative, right? It's like, oh my God. It's a big deal. And then like fellow awardees have said, no one does this stuff alone, right? And so I wanna thank all my peeps at Mass Housing for doing that. When you think about how you get to these spaces and places, there's always someone to thank. And like many people, like I'm here because of not really as much because of women, but because of men, right? Because there is still a lot of power and influence that rests in men. And so oftentimes when you get to these spaces, there's lots of men to be thankful for. I think most recently, I want to thank my friend and mentor, Charlie Baker, who took a chance on me. I'm not the traditional person that one would think about as undersecretary, but when we met while he was on the campaign trail, 8 years ago or whatever, I always tell people we met and fell in love. And so, and so we have a great relationship, and I want to thank him and Jay Ash both for making my public service, making me understand what it was really about public service and why, even though I was non-traditional, I could be good at that. One thing I wanted to note was like, here we are in this room talking about women and celebrating women, but almost 60 years later, after the passing of the Civil Rights Act, we're celebrating firsts for women of color. I am the first woman of color. I'm the first woman and woman of color to lead Massachusetts, to lead the Massachusetts Housing Finance. Thank you. We just, as an agency, have our first woman and woman of color board chair. We recently, thank you. We have, our first woman and woman of color lead the city of Boston. But some of it is like, here we are almost 60 years later and we're just celebrating those firsts, right? And so we gotta do better. And why this group of people has to do better is because CRE, what we do, shapes the places that people live, work, play, and we gotta shape places in which everybody feels welcome. And we don't know how to do that if we're still celebrating first for people of color, right? And so we gotta have places where people of color feel welcome, and do things that create places for them to thrive, not just live, and that is up to us, right? This is the industry that does that. And the fact that we're celebrating firsts for women of color, even in the Supreme Court, right, is like, it's like we're not doing enough. And there's a big call to do this expeditiously, right? It's like, it's not just, it's not enough, it's not even fast enough. And there are decisions that can be made and should be made to diversify what this is. So that is my call to action. Generally, that's why I love a mic, right? Because I got to talk about my issues, girl. And then lastly, I wanna thank my son, who is not here with me. He never goes to these things with me. I'm a single parent, And I started out my career doing community work. So we'd go to community meetings, and like my son is like 7, and he's like, oh my God, I gotta do this again. By the time my kid was like in middle school, I would tell people he could run a community meeting. Like, he knows all the things, right? But being a single parent and being his parent taught me a lot, taught me everything I know about leadership, and fierce leadership, what that means. It taught me everything I know about patience, and it taught me everything I know about leading with love, right? Leading from this place of love. And so I want to thank him for that. And if anybody tells him I said that, I'm going to find you. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Now, I'm sure everybody is going to agree with me today here that if there was no life sciences industry, what will happen to Boston market? And one of the leaders of this industry in Boston is Biomed Realty. And it's a great honor to honor today Colleen O'Connor. She's a Senior Vice President of Leasing for the East Coast and the UK markets of Biomed Realty. She manages more than 6 million square feet of life sciences and technology space across 2 continents. This includes driving Biomed's portfolio strategy for these regions, identifying growth opportunities for the platform, spearheading leasing activity for existing assets and new developments, and establishing key relationships with stakeholders across the country. In her 8 years with Biomed Realty, she has sharpened her expertise in life sciences laboratory and office real estate, one of the fastest growing real estate sectors across the country, in one of the fastest growing lab office markets in the country. Of course, that is Boston. I hope everybody agrees with me on that. Since joining Biomed Realty, Colleen has elevated the Blackstone portfolio company by establishing trusted relationship with high-profile names in the real estate, venture capital, and life sciences communities. With the rapid growth of life sciences market, her responsibilities have grown too. She has a keen understanding of unique needs of tenants in an industry that is simultaneously flush with investments and constricted by accelerated drug development timeline. Thanks to her efforts, Biomed today is able to help identify high-quality strategic spaces for its portfolio and deliver reliable services from its platform to tenants so that tenants can focus on their expertise delivering life sciences therapeutics. She is a member of several real estate industry groups, including RIFA and CRU. She is also a member of the United Way Real Estate Fundraising Group and is serving as a co-chair for the 2021 fundraising event. Colleen, welcome. Congratulations.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you so much. Just want to start by saying thank you very much, Pendra. I kind of want to steal you and bring you back to my office so that you can repeat your words about listening to women and making sure that everybody realizes that we actually really are where all the power and the intelligence is. So, so if I could steal you maybe for a day, I would absolutely take you. But in all seriousness, thank you very much to the Boston Real Estate Times. I'm incredibly honored to be standing up here alongside so many talented professionals. Also want to say a huge thank you to my Biomed Realty leaders that are sitting here, women from my office who have been incredibly supportive. I feel incredibly blessed to be working alongside these women and learning from them every day. I think one of the things we've heard actually from a lot of the women that have come up here and accepted these awards is most of them at some point in their careers had somebody that took a chance on them. I started my career out actually working in public accounting at PwC, working as an auditor in looking at various retail businesses. Definitely wasn't my calling, but it was an excellent training ground for me, and then moved over to Fidelity, where I was very fortunate to have an excellent mentor there. But I actually got into the real estate business completely by happenstance, something I had never thought of. I'm a first-gen college student, so I didn't have a lot of access to the business world generally. Also had no idea really anything about the real estate industry, but received a phone call one day about an analyst job at Biomed Realty, helping the team analyze various real estate transactions. And for me, considered the role, but was very confused. Why am I getting a phone call to work in real estate? Why am I getting a phone call to work in a leasing department when I have zero sales experience? But Bill Kane, who's our president of our East Coast and UK markets for Biomed Realty, who's been an unbelievable champion for women, not only for Biomed Realty, but I know many of you sitting in the room know him and know he's one of the best guys in the business. But he had said, you know, real estate is just another investment class. You clearly understand investments. You clearly have a skill set. You know numbers. You'll figure out the real estate piece. We can teach you the nuances of that. You just bring your skill sets to the table and work hard, and you will be successful in this business. So I actually started out running all the numbers behind the scenes for the guys on the team. And eventually, with the growth and boom in life sciences, the transaction volume was just unbelievable and simply couldn't be handled by the existing leasing team. So eventually they said, why are you sitting behind the scenes telling us what to do, telling us what economics to get? Just go negotiate these deals yourself. So I managed to move myself to the front line, and then with time eventually ended up taking over the whole East Coast and UK market, working on over 6 million square feet. So just a storytelling exercise on, you know, take a chance on people, especially with women who may not have had access to some of the real estate industry where we're growing in it. There are plenty of female professionals in Boston that have relevant skill sets that can really be translated into the real estate industry. So feel very blessed and fortunate to have come into an industry with women like Kristen and Marci, who've been here for some time and have trained me and helped network with me and really welcome me with open arms into the industry. So feel very, very lucky to be up here, and thanks again, appreciate it.
Thank you, congratulations. Our next honoree is Jane Kaplan Peck. She is the Chief Operating Officer of Kaplan Construction. As the Chief Operating Officer and majority owner of Kaplan Construction, Jane is responsible for the company's day-to-day operations, ensuring Kaplan's financial security and viability. As the second generation of Kaplan Construction family, she has been immersed in construction industry since a young age and has acquired a deep understanding of the business. Her previous roles at Kaplan include project manager and financial and administrative manager. Before joining Kaplan in 2006, she served as an assistant project manager at Samut Design and Construction and as a project assistant analyst at Liggett McCall Properties. She is an officer of the board of the Associated Builders and Contractors, ABC. She is a member of Commercial Real Estate Women Crew, Boston, and a board member of the Brookline Community Mental Health Center. She also serves as the director and coach of Brookline Girls Youth Lacrosse. Jane, welcome.
Congratulations, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you to Boston Real Estate Times, and thank you so much for this tremendous honor. It's a privilege to be in this room with so many strong and outstanding female professionals. Congratulations to all of you.
As a second generation of the Kaplan construction family, I've been immersed in this field since a very young age. The company was founded in 1976, just a few years before I was born, so my childhood evolved alongside the same timeline as my parents' growing business. As a child in the 1980s, I remember visiting the workplace where I watched my mother sit in her office in her power suit, shoulder pads included, seemingly running the world. She never shied away from war room conversation, debate, or dialogue over a major decision because she was a woman. Her gender never stopped her. If it ever fazed her that a woman sitting in the front office of a construction company was outside the societal norm, she never let anyone know. Business was constantly a topic of family discussions, and job site visits were as common as school field trips. The constant exposure helped me take an interest in the industry, in particular the organizational aspect of the business. My college years and early 20s were a chance for me to explore different opportunities, but my life choices were always strategic and armed with the knowledge that I might eventually work for the family company. In 2006, after gaining the prerequisite 5 years industry experience, according to my parents, I finally came on board. 8 years later, I took over the company with my husband, Nate, and haven't looked back since. In October 2014, shortly after my husband and I took over, one of the first undertakings as the newly appointed COO was spearheading the effort to be certified as a women business enterprise by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. According to a recent report on the state of women in construction in 2021, only 13% of construction firms in the United States are owned by women. At Kaplan, nearly 1/4 of our employees are women, well above the industry average of 10%. I feel it's essential for our firm's future to recruit, train, and mentor women in the field of construction. I'm motivated to maintain the legacy that my parents started creating for Kaplan Construction 46 years ago. Thank you again for this award, and thank you and congratulations to my fellow honorees.
Thank you so much. Sure. Now, before we come to our final awardee, I would just like to thank all of you for coming. And all these events will be totally impossible without you being here today in the morning. So really, from the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank all of you for coming to this morning and supporting this event. And hopefully, we'll continue to support as we host this event every year. Also, I would like to thank some of the key sponsors of this event. Without their help, this would have been almost impossible to do it. The RMR group has been supporting our event for a very, very long time. So thank to RMR group, Griffith Properties, and Biomed Realty. Thank you all of you. Now, our next and the final awardee is Maureen Ristrom. She is a Vice President of Marketing and a partner at J. Callan Associates. She has 20 years of marketing experience in the AEC industry. She is responsible for planning, developing, and implementing marketing strategies and communications around brand management, internal and external public relations, and industry awards and recognition programs, events, and philanthropic initiatives. She also works closely with the leadership team at Callan Associates on the business development efforts, as well as company's strategic initiatives, including employee training and development, strategic relationships, technology tools, and overall process and procedures. She is extremely active as a leader in a number of industry organizations. She serves on the executive committee as a president-elect for CoreNet, Global New England chapter, on the executive committee for the Commercial Brokers Association. She is also involved in NAIOP, where she was an active member of the Charitable Events Committee and former VP of Marketing and Membership Committee. She is also co-founder of All Women's Networking Group, PLA, which has gained tremendous traction for its emphasis on mentoring and philanthropy. Maureen, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, I understand that I'm the last one here, so try to keep it a little brief. But I feel like coming up on this stage here today, we should be playing some Alicia Keys. You know, these women, these girls are on fire. This is incredibly inspiring. So next time, yes, thank you for this incredible recognition. I feel truly humbled and honored to be considered in the same company as these women we're celebrating here today. I went to college with Joelle, so it's nice to see another Falcon being recognized. But fellow honorees like Kristen and Marci in particular paved the way for so many people, not just women in this industry. When I first started out, it was pretty intimidating. I often joke that attending any large industry event was like wading through a sea of navy blue suits and silver hair. But still, you had the likes of Marci and Kristen as shining examples of what could be. Well-respected leaders who were absolutely killing it in real estate. Did they have to work harder, smarter, longer? I'm sure all of that. But their presence and their involvement with different associations like NAIOP, RIFA, and CREW inspired me and showed me that it is possible for a woman to not only find success, but to absolutely thrive in this industry. I bet you they don't even realize, I'm looking at Kristen right now and I see Marci over there, what kind of an impact they've had on so many people. Thank you, in particular, to both of you for leading the way. Thank you. I also need to credit JCNA's CEO, Jay Kalman, who just had back surgery, so he couldn't be here today. But he has consistently challenged me and pushed me outside my comfort zone to achieve more. When I would talk to him about the lack of female representation, he would ask me, so what can we do as a company to help you change that? Think about that for a minute. What can we do as a company to help you change that? Those words showed me that at JCNA, there would be no obstacles to achieving what I wanted in my career. That empowerment enabled me to form the Professional Ladies Association that Upendra talked about, and that position within Play opened the doors to many other leadership positions, including now the president for Kornegay Global New England chapter. I have been so fortunate and blessed throughout my career, as many people have said here today, to have awesome mentors and sponsors, both men and women, who took a genuine interest in my career. To all of you, you know who you are. Some of you are virtual too. Thank you. I also have an incredible support system at work, from Jay, the partners, and the entire team, including my rockstar marketing team of Sam and Em, who are here today. I also need to thank my tribe, or players, as we like to call ourselves, who just get it. There are other women in the industry who get it, and I think we all keep each other sane. It certainly takes a village, and I can't leave out my A-team, which is my husband, Adam, and our 3 sons, Adam, Aiden, and Andrew, for their patience and grace. They're really my everything, my purpose, and I hope I make them proud. And as I stand here today, I feel overwhelmed with gratitude when I reflect on how I got here. My early days had always been about trying to keep up with the boys, whether it was being the only girl on the baseball team or attending Bentley, as Joelle can attest, was primarily male at the time, at least in the accounting classes, or starting a career path in construction. It wasn't until I came to JCNA that I truly felt empowered to change this tired dynamic. I'm proud to work at JCNA, and I'm proud that trying to keep up with the boys is no longer my focus. There has been a ton of progress, as people mentioned here today, because of everybody in this room, but there's still a lot of work to be done. As a woman in the construction industry, I am motivated by providing opportunities and opening doors for other women in this field. Women need to support other women. Our trademark at JCNA is We Build, and that refers to all of the work that we build across various sectors, including life sciences, robotics, corporate. But we also build communities, leaders, and lasting relationships. And today, we'll use our trademark to say and vow together, especially as women, that we build each other up. Thank you.
Thank you. On that note, I'm glad that Will Smith is not in the audience today. It's just a joke. Thank you very much. And again, we still have this room for another 15, 20 minutes if you want to stay and have coffee and network. And again, thank you all for coming, and keep reading Boston Real Estate Times. Thank you.